Hi, welcome to our newest exhibition in the Project Space Gallery here at the Peoria Art Guild. We have two wonderful students from Bradley's Capstone Photography program, and Cultivate is an exhibit of both of their photographs. First, let's introduce ourselves.
Hi, my name is Jenna Zeise. I am a senior photography major.
Hi, I'm Emmily Scumaci, and I'm also a senior photography major.
And we have a body of work which combines both of your sensibilities. Let's start with this work here. And whose is it?
This is mine.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this, because what is your process and what is your intention in making these films, these photographs? I think what's wonderful is that you using the hands, which a lot of people, Alfred Stieglitz did George O'Keeffe's hands and everything, but they're wonderfully done. And how you decided that we're going to have this dark background, we're going to really focus on just the human nature of the pieces. So go ahead, tell us a little bit about it.
So something that I like to weave into my work a lot is like taking modern ideologies and classical techniques and merging those together to like question traditional values. So in this series, I wanted to take dark backgrounds, Renaissance style still lifes to kind of inspire the photographs that I took. I wanted to involve myself in my work since I don't do self-portraiture often, but I thought involving myself would kind of increase the personal connection that I had to the piece. And also add something different than just having a large row of still lifes. Like, it would be more dynamic and have a more bright presentation.
And I like, how did you determine what substances you were going to interact with? We have honey, we have an egg, we have melons.
Yeah.
How did you determine, and is this just a part of a series?
This is kind of a continuation of the still life series that I have going on. I chose these in particular to interact with because honey and eggs, they're both very fertility adjacent. I wanted to work with fruits and other kind of allegories and symbols for fertility, reproduction, menstruation, to kind of show more of a female autonomy story. So I did choose those because they're commonly associated with and like societal standards for fertility or femininity.
Really? And I love the egg. Was it fun? Was it fun? Be honest. Was it fun to break
It
the
was.
egg?
Emily was there. She helped me shoot.
Like, oh, this is great.
We only went through a couple.
It's very physical too, and it's
Yes.
giving your, the hand can be just very sculptural and posed in some way, but
Exactly.
here you can actually feel the tension of breaking them.
Yeah.
And I think it is a good lead in to these they're based, I'm sure, on classical, even Renaissance, and as far back as the Renaissance, of a table with this bouquet of foods and scents and all that sort of thing. But again, you've distilled them to particular pieces of fruit, and you've put them on a dark background, which really, really emphasizes the color. And I think that's really remarkable.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk about why you chose, again,
sure.
these?
So I took went from mostly mythology based stories that fruits have incorporated within like Greek mythology, Roman mythology. They're very present in those stories, like specifically like the pomegranate with Persephone's seeds. They're just very woven into those stories throughout history, and many phrases like bearing your fruits or the seeds of your labor, stuff like that. Fruit have always been very much of a metaphor, and instead of kind of collaborating and putting all of them on one area together, I wanted to be able to kind of give them their own spotlight, show them in their own way, and giving them more space to breathe, not having as much visual weight in one area. I am also a painter, so I spent a lot of time painting Renaissance style still lifes. So I thought might as well try to incorporate that into my photography and see how I'd like it doing that.
And you both are in the BFA program.
Yes.
And you both have an exhibit is it at Hoyser or Hartman? Which one is yours?
We're both at Hoyser.
Hoyser. Do you have a painting of
I
a still
don't
life?
have I don't have a painting.
You should have.
It is connected to the series though.
I
so
really
we
do, and I appreciate this one in particular because you have multiple berries in it. And I think what's so much fun is that they're not imperfect focus.
Right.
And instead you've got it so that you've softened them, but yet we really have to dig deep to see these blueberries in the background. And I think that's great because it gives it a little bit more mystery and curiosity, I think.
Sure.
Now when we come over here, most of this is yours. And let's talk about, we have the cork board, which is just a bulletin board, but it has a lot of, I think, mementos, pictures that are very, very memorializing someone in particular.
My dad.
Your dad. And then, is this his garage?
No, actually, this is my boyfriend's grandpa's garage. Yes, he's a mechanic, so I asked if it would be okay if I came and took some pictures, and they agreed. So.
And what about the garage? Is it the maximalist?
Yes, it is.
Part of it where there is so much stuff in there.
Yes, there is a lot, and I wanted to go in there and to get some photos of the authentic part of it, the workspace of it. It's a private workspace for him, so I can only imagine what a business's garage might look like. Probably 10 times more like this.
Did he relate many stories about some of the objects and the decals in particular?
More about the
Is he a
decals.
typical grandfather?
He is, and he liked to talk about a lot of the car shows that he had cars in or went to go see. He's very, very into cars, so yes, mechanic makes sense.
That's fabulous. Now, let's talk about these, because these are construction pictures, and just explain what.
So this one I saw on the way home one day, driving down I-80, and if anybody knows anything about I-80, they know that the construction is never ending.
It is forever.
But in this particular stretch, I saw that they had the American flag, and I just thought that it was so powerful and such a strong image that I asked my dad if we could go back, and he drove us back and pulled over for me so that I wasn't doing it by myself, which is even more dangerous. So. I felt very moved to take this image.
So that was a particular moment.
Yes.
What about the rest of these in particular, the ones where you got very physical about using the materials and making the constructions?
Yes, I went to work with my dad over spring break. One day went to a construction site with him while he was working to get some pictures of him in action. He didn't want really his face to be in any of them, so I really did focus on the hands, and it really doesn't matter about the face. It's the hands that it
is. That's what construction is all about.
Yes,
it's very personal.
It's a very physical work, and we wouldn't be where we are today without our construction workers, really. So.
And then where are these three?
Farms? So these farms were actually like part of my original idea for this project. I wanted for showing the lack of appreciation for blue-collar workers. It kind of rooted in farm work and how a lot of our farms are family farms are being shut down and being turned into industrial agriculture instead. And these two were in Iowa, and then this one was closer to my house. And it really
very Midwestern barns.
Yes,
they're very Midwestern barns.
Yes, and all three of them are so. They're so deteriorated, and it just kind of shows the lack of support that our small town farmers have.
But there is something very almost romantic about the dilapidated barn, and then so many local, Central Illinois in particular, landscape artists include them all the time because there is something just really draws you in. Now here we have a little bit more of the physical construction part.
Yeah, so this one was a part of the garage, and I just wanted to show a car that he was working on. And then the rest of the three are still at the construction site with my dad. Some more of him doing some physical work and just different kinds of work. He's a tile setter, so really emphasize that one in this image in particular. But this one, there were just a bunch of other guys working on the same site. He was working with the drywall and taping everything up so that everything was seamless. And I saw the stilts. I thought they looked a lot of fun. I kind of want to walk on them. But it just kind of emphasizes that it's not necessarily safe work that these men are doing.
You're right.
So,
You're right.
And it is mostly men. It was all men on this site, but Yeah.
And that has changed a lot.
It
and we
has,
know
for
that
sure.
just each situation is
Mhm.
unique. And so I don't think that says anything that
No,
there
but
isn't
yeah,
a
it was
woman
just-
there,
mhm.
but in the fact. And I love this one where you're actually showing the tools and
Yes.
using a very physical, that you can almost
Mhm.
feel the hammering
Mhm.
of the chisel there, which leads into this group of tools.
Yes.
So
So I had asked my dad to bring down some tools that he didn't use super often or had like multiples of, so that I wouldn't be infringing on his his daily work life. And so he brought me down some of his tools that he doesn't use as often, and I chose to do it in a Renaissance kind of way. I really enjoy Rembrandt lighting a lot, so I wanted to incorporate that, and I think it just really romanticizes the blue collar field. And a lot of these are really old tools. They've been well loved and well used, and it just kind of shows most construction workers.
well,
and
I
do the
love
same
that
thing.
it's contemporary, but
Mhm.
it's not shown in a contemporary way.
Yes.
There's an artist, Jim Dine, who has done a whole series of wonderfully drawn tools, and they're painted but they're just the tool. That is the subject matter. And I love how you've done that, but you've reinterpreted it, like you said, in more of a Renaissance type of lighting and situation. And I think the other thing is that they've become very sculptural. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a wonderful, strong piece. And even this, because you have to really, again, I think is it a mutter or
It's
what's
a
up?
grouter.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
but you have to really, really search to see the whole thing. And I think that is kind of a signature of yours that's really working well.
Thank
I
you.
really think it does. And I love the hammer this way because just like in using the hammer there, we usually think of a hammer upright,
Right.
and that would be more at a hardware store when they're trying to sell it to you, rather than the working hammer is the one that's hammering and is in a horizontal place. That's really great. And then we have one more. We had an outlier that we could not fit over there, but we put it here because it is a wonderful piece that relates so well to your guys' poster.
So if anything
And
has to
so
be
it
here,
really
it
works
works.
with that. But these are grapes. Grapes were, what was the meaning with grapes?
This one is actually the kind of origin image.
Oh, okay.
My first painting that I did in this series was of grapes kind of bleeding wine, and that kind of came up with the idea of like kind of fermenting fruits and like the deterioration of these different foods and things like that. So I wanted to kind of pay homage to that original painting and kind of give her moment to shine a bit.
Well, it
but
really
very
is a
similar.
wonderful still life because you've got these that are, there's the clump of them, and then they come center, and then you transposing a tool
Yeah.
over them just really makes it a very strong image. And we are so thrilled. I think this is the 4th year that we've done the capstone. We hope that we'll be able to do it again next year. Bradley has a wonderful BFA program as well that you're in, and I hope that everybody gets over to Heuser and Hartman to see those exhibits. But come here first. Come here first. And Cultivate will be up. I don't know if you guys, are you going to leave it up the whole month?
Yes, it'll be
Okay,
here
so it'll be up till the end of the month because
Yes.
sometimes people have to take things if they're going home. But
Yeah.
come and enjoy. It's just really a wonderful, strong, and it's beyond just being an academic exhibition. This is really a good exhibition by 2 young photographers.
Thank you so much.
So thank
Thanks,
you.
ladies.
Thank you.